Hi, welcome back to day 3 of our 12 Dogs of Christmas. Today we're going to be talking to you a little bit about travelling tips for your pets. So if you're going away for Christmas, whether it's half an hour away or if you're actually going to stay with relatives in a different part of the country, being able to get your dog there safely and as happily as possible is really important. So before you go, you want to make sure that you've got the essentials. Please, I cannot stress enough, make sure that your pet's microchip details are up to date. If you're in an unfamiliar place and your pet gets lost, you want someone to be able to scan that microchip quickly and be able to give you a call and you can get your dog back there and then.
And it's the law now anyway.
It is, yes, it is now as well, that they do have to be microchipped, but even still we see a lot of dogs that have got the microchip but the details aren't up to date, which is the most important part. As well as that, make sure that you take your dog's regular food. Sudden changes in diet can cause upset stomachs as well as diarrhoea, which isn't something you want to be dealing with on Christmas Day. As well as that, take plenty of water for the journey as well as bowls. When you're about to leave, it's better not to feed them just beforehand because a full belly and the motion of the car could probably lead that to coming back up in your car, which isn't something that you're going to want. So we say feed them about 3 or 4 hours before you're planning to leave, especially if it's going to be a long journey. Make sure you take lots of blankets and bedding. This isn't only for warmth, to keep them nice and toasty in the car, but it's also for comfort. Familiar smells will help decrease the stress a little bit, help relax them. And just remember as well, I think we all know now that hot cars can be extremely dangerous for dogs. However, cold cars can be dangerous as well. I think it's something people underestimate. Maybe not so much in our part of the country where we don't tend to get harsh winters, but certainly in other parts, freezing cars can be extremely dangerous, and actually any dog left unattended for a period of time is also a target for thieves, so be very careful. So when you are actually travelling, there's many ways to transport your pet in your car. One of the favourites for a lot of people is the crate. It's a safe space. Normally in the boot I find is quite a good idea because then it's nice and secure, especially if you're travelling with more family members, so the back seats aren't free. So the best thing to do, pop it in the boot, blanket over the top, so this will help them relax. However, for larger breeds, so if you've got a big old Labrador at home or a German Shepherd, suddenly their crate is going to be a lot bigger and a lot heavier and nowhere near as easy to move as if you've got, like me, a nice little Jack Russell. So if the crate isn't appropriate for you, you can try a harness, which is essentially a seat belt for dogs, so it clips into where your seat belt would normally go. We would say to get a full harness rather than one just clips onto the collar, because if there were an accident and you're sent lurching forwards, you don't want all that force just going around your dog's neck. It's better if it's spread out over their body. It can, however, restrict movement for larger dogs lying down. They need more give in that. And also, watch out for chewers. If your dog, like mine actually, he's anything available, he'll have a chew. So just be careful that they're not chewing through it while you're not paying attention to them and then suddenly they're free and roaming in the car. One thing that does work, especially for bigger dogs, is the car grid and backseat barriers. I'm sure many of you have seen the car grid. They're the metal wire essentially that goes up between the back seats and the boot. So you section the boot off, which is a nice safe space for your dog to be, and it's a lot more movement for freedom of movement for your large dog so they can lay down. And a backseat barrier is the same thing, but it basically goes between the front seats and the back seats of the car. So if there's only a couple of you going, keep the dog in the back. One thing really importantly with any new equipment, make sure you introduce it slowly. If you're travelling 3 or 4 hours and your dog has never used a crate before, they're going to get very, very stressed out if you just shove them in a crate and off you go and suddenly they're in there for 4 hours. So introduce it to them slowly, lots of treats, lots of little journeys beforehand. So if you are going away, start doing that now, getting them ready for it.
So, planning your journey.
Yes.
Like you're going to have to plan your journey anyway to know where you're going. When you're planning your journey, put in some stops. Water stops, feeding stops, allow your dog just to get out, have a little stretch, go to the toilet. Like you were saying, don't feed and then drive in case we have a sick dog. Take some bags in case you need to clear it up and some cloths in case you need to clear up any kind of vomit. And if you know your dog's going to be sick, there are some medications that you can get from your vet. These are prescription only, so make sure that you visit your vet in good time. You don't want to be travelling on the weekend and you just realise you need to go to the vet on the Friday, because chances are you're not going to get in. Yes. So we need to plan all this well in advance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing, whilst we're talking about vets, one of the biggest things with travelling where your dog can get injured actually is your dog sticking its head out the car window. It's quite a cute thing sometimes to see, sort of dogs doing that, but they do get hit by flying objects and twigs and things like that. So we've seen a few here, haven't we?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Eye injuries and things like that where dogs have stuck their heads out the window. So if you want to have some fresh air in your car, you can get those little grate vent things that you can put so that your window doesn't go all the way up, but the dog can't stick its head out.
And it's still nice, they can still get up at the window, they can still see what's going on, they still get that breeze in their face, they're just not at risk. Okay. Very quickly as well, keeping your dog occupied in the car. Toys are absolutely fine, but it's about finding appropriate ones. You don't want edible things, just because if there's sudden braking or something happens, or even just generally dogs, especially some dogs, can scoff things a little bit too quickly. So you don't want anything that's going to cause a choking hazard, because if you hear your dog choking, that's going to distract you from driving and increase the risk of an accident. But otherwise, normal little toys, absolutely fine, keep them busy. So once you get there, ready for Christmas Day, as tempting as it is to rush in and go and see all the family, you just have to give your dog a little bit of time. So when you get there, give them the option to go to the toilet. If you haven't travelled far enough that you've had to do a meal stop, give them the option of some food and water, and then just let your dog go in at their own pace. If you've got a lovely social butterfly, they might run in there straight away, jump over all the family and have a great time. But if they're like my dog, who's a little bit more reserved, he would start to really get quite scared if suddenly the whole family come around at once. So just let him go in. I'm sure he'll get comfortable after a little while, and then people can start making a fuss over him. All right, lovely. Excellent. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.